So I went back on Amazon to buy another renewed phone. It's something I want to do more of here on this channel. And of course, if you want, you can give me some feedback of what other phones I should do. I did the iPhone 7 the first time with mixed results. And this time I went for the iPhone 8 Plus. It's been a really interesting experience with this, as I never had this when it first came out. Matter of fact, I was all Android at that point. But this phone became the redheaded stepchild because the same day it was announced, a much cooler phone was announced, or at least the future of phones for Apple, the iPhone 10. There was no iPhone 9. The iPhone 9 might actually come out this year, which is 3 years later. Listen, I can't get into the mindset of Apple on this one, but we're going to talk a little bit about the iPhone 8 Plus and whether or not you should buy one on Amazon renewed right after this.
This is, you listening to Travis.
What up, players? Welcome back, and for all you new people, welcome. My name's Travis, and I do tech videos every single week and have a blast doing them. If that sounds like fun to you, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Anything I talk about will be in the description below. But for now, let's just get into the video. Now, in case you missed my last video about the iPad and the ridiculous pricing of the keyboard, make sure you go watch that. The intro is one of my best intros I've ever done, and apparently, according to you guys, you really liked it too. So I'll leave that in the description below and on an end card. But we're talking about the iPhone 8 Plus. 2017 was a year of the first for Apple, which was the first phone without a button, but it wasn't this one. This was the last of this design. This design is back from like the iPhone 6. So they went from the 6, 6 Plus, 7, 7 Plus, 8, 8 Plus. But again, in the same year, they announced the iPhone 10. Let's talk a little bit about the iPhone 8 first. It's funny because when they announced this, we kind of knew through leaks that an iPhone 10 would probably be announced, but they really started off the entire presentation as if this was it, kind of like this. And Apple, if nothing else, is great at making people want things. I mean, their marketing and their videos are pretty amazing, I'm not gonna lie. It makes this thing seem really kind of cool. And of course, they talked a lot about the cameras on this phone. There were some changes and some pretty cool, neat software tricks, so let me let them explain that.
The A11 Bionic includes our first new generation image signal processor, or ISP. So you know this is used in photography. It delivers faster autofocus in low light. It has new pixel processing for sharpness and texture. And for the first time, to help reduce noise, it has hardware-enabled multi-band noise reduction. It has deeper pixels and a new color filter. The wide-angle camera has an f1.8 aperture and optical image stabilization. The telephoto camera has f2.8 aperture. Using the new dual cameras and the A11 Bionic chip and the iPhone 8 Plus, the team has come up with a new feature called portrait lighting. When you compose a photo in the camera app using the portrait mode, the dual cameras in the ISP sense the scene. They create a depth map, they separate the subject from the background, and then using machine learning, it creates facial landmarks and actually changes the lighting of the contours over your face. And that happens while you're composing the shot. This is real-time analysis of the light on your subject's face. In fact, you can go in later, after you shot a portrait mode photo, into the Photos app and change the lighting effect to select which one you want to use on your photograph.
And AR was a big thing this year. I don't know if you remember this, but they did all types of demos with AR on this phone. And not that you can't do it now, but I know AR is supposed to be the next thing, but I just don't see a lot of use for it. I do see Apple using it on their website so you can like look at what things will look like in your house, but I haven't really used those things much on my phone. Now with the A11 processor and all the cool things they said this thing has, you would expect this phone to perform well in 2020. And to no surprise, it absolutely does. Like I said in the iPhone 7, which I was surprised how well that thing held up, I knew this one would do better, and of course it did.
It's a 64-bit design, 4.3 billion transistors, 6 core. We're gonna geek out here for a bit because it is so awesome. It has 2 high-performance cores. They're 25% faster than the high-performance cores in the previous industry-leading A10 chip. First ever Apple designed graphics processing unit, or GPU. This is a 3-core design. It's 30% faster than the graphics in the previous A10.
And no matter what I do, I can't make this thing slow down, whether it be editing files in LumaFusion or, and get this, playing Call of Duty on this thing. Man, this thing really kicks all types of tailpiece. A11 with the new GPU in it is all types of awesome. And to remind you, this is the same processor that's in the iPhone 10. So while the numbers are different, 8 and 10, the actual performance really isn't. In a lot of ways, this phone, in my opinion, kind of was forgotten because the iPhone 10 came out and it was such a drastic change for Apple that I think most people kind of skipped over this phone. I will say this, in the time that I've had it, I've kind of fallen in love with it. The screen is only 5.5 inches, which is normally too small, but the overall phone is actually kind of huge because of the big forehead and the big chin. But I kind of like Touch ID. I'm not gonna lie, I like it. Now, before I talk too much about the actual phone that I bought, the specific one I got from Amazon Renewed, I want to talk a little bit more about the camera on this thing. Obviously, these days, if the camera isn't good on your phone, you probably don't want to use it. Well, needless to say, the camera's pretty darn good on this one. Now, this is something that Apple touted the entire video. Let me show you a little bit of how they talked about the camera on this thing.
So iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are incredible for taking pictures. They're also amazing for video as well. In fact, iPhone 8 has the highest quality video capture ever in a smartphone.
And my experience is basically the same. As you can see here, the picture quality and the video quality in this thing is excellent. The pictures I took always came out good no matter what kind of situation I was in. And the video quality is just really, really good. 4K 60 on a phone from 2017. I know some people think 4K 60 is a new thing, but it totally isn't. Now let's talk a little bit about this phone specifically. Amazon Renewed. Here's the thing. You can go on Amazon, I've talked about this before, and I'll clarify it again here in a second, and buy this phone for under $400. I think I got this for like $340. Pretty darn good deal for this phone. So let me explain what Amazon Renewed is. Amazon Renewed is a program in which third-party sellers on Amazon can sell renewed products on Amazon's site under the Amazon Renewed name. Now, specifically buying iPhones on Amazon Renewed is actually a pretty good deal because you are guaranteed at least 80% battery capacity on any phone you buy. And that's exactly what I got here, 88% on this thing. Now, obviously, this is a phone from 2017. If you buy a phone from like 2018 or something like that, you should expect even better battery capacity. But even at 88%, this thing was getting me through the day pretty easily. And I think that has a lot to do with the efficiency of the cores of the A11, as well as the fact that when you turn off the screen, this thing acts like it's not on at all. Like, it doesn't drink very much battery at all. It's pretty amazing. So basically, you're getting a flagship from 2017 for under $400. And quite frankly, the A11 and the camera on this is much better than your inexpensive mid-range Android phone. Much better. And there's something about this particular phone that I just fell in love with. I really think it's the way it fits in my hand. I love the way this thing feels. I actually like the way it looks. There is so much I like about this phone that I started thinking that I kind of want to keep it. And for some reason, I've fallen in love with this phone. It definitely has something to do with the way it feels in my hands. I am just falling in love with this thing. I mean, for the first time. I never again ever owned one of these when it came out. It feels great in the hands, and while the screen isn't as big as a lot of your flagships, and the overall phone is, so you're kind of giving up a lot of that stuff, you know, Touch ID is pretty legit. Everything about this phone just works excellently, and it's one of those things I've been saying for a while now. I just wanted to do the base core things that I wanted to do excellently, and this thing absolutely does. Now again, with Amazon Renewed, you get something that basically looks brand new, and I can't tell that this thing has ever been used. Other than the battery life that starts at 88% the capacity, this thing looks brand spanking new, and that's been my experience with all the Amazon Renewed phones that I've gotten so far. They are guaranteed to look new, and they did. I got really lucky. The seller of this particular one was actually Verizon. Verizon apparently sells renewed phones on Amazon, so I knew it was gonna be in good shape, and this one really was. So as a review of Amazon Renewed, I gotta say, man, I feel really good about saying you can buy an Amazon Renewed phone and not worry too much about it. The other thing is you get 90 days, which is much longer than the 30 days you get with any new product on Amazon. As a matter of fact, most cell carriers will only give you like 14 days with a phone before they will not accept your return. You get 90. So it's hard to look past something like an iPhone 8 with a powerful A11 processor, a great camera on front and back, And of course, the ability to do all the things that iPhones can do. Apple Pay, AirDrop, which is savage, iMessage, and more. This thing is great. I absolutely not only think that this could be a great phone for 2020, it could be a great phone for 2021. Let's not forget, Apple's doing a great job of updating these phones for every single iOS update. We're gonna see like iOS 16 on this thing. So yes, for me, I say this thing can absolutely be your flagship for 2020. A lot of people won't agree, that's okay. Guarantee if you give this phone to the vast majority of people out there right now, they're gonna be happy with it. It's probably better than most people's camera, and I'll tell you, the processing power on this thing is a beast. But what do you think? What type of phone would you use from Amazon Renewed? Let me know in the comments below and we'll talk about it. And also, what other phone do you want me to buy from Amazon Renewed? I was thinking about the S10 because I made a video about it a while back. You can watch it over here. Tell me about it and we'll talk about it. Peace and love, peace and love.